Chat.
Hey there. What can I do for you?
Why do people get put on death row?
People are put on death row for committing very serious crimes, typically capital offenses, like murder with aggravating circumstances, acts of terrorism, or multiple homicides. The death penalty is intended to be a punishment for the most egregious crimes. The specific criteria can vary by jurisdiction. Would you like more details on how it works in different places?
No.
No worries. If you have any other questions, just let me know. If there's anything you'd like to talk about, just let me know.
Chat.
Hey there. How's it going?
What state has the largest death row inmates?
California has the largest number of death row inmates in the United States. Is there anything else you'd like to know?
Why did Joe Biden reduce death row inmate sentences to life imprisonment without parole?
President Biden has not broadly commuted death row sentences to life without parole, but there has been significant advocacy and legal movement on this issue. Some state governors have also taken actions to reduce death row populations. If you're asking about a specific case or policy, I'd be happy to help with more details.
Yes, but you gave the wrong answer, chat. Goodbye.
He wasn't finished.
Incorrect. What year is he reporting from?
Oh my God, that was funny.
Okay, it was.
Yeah. So y'all see that y'all saw what happened. Y'all see he has commuted 37 out of 40 inmates, and if I'm not mistaken, 4 of them were women.
Maybe we should say commuted to ChatGPT.
Okay.
Next time, no.
So, and the other 3 were the guy who at the bombing for the runners, Dylan Ruth, and there was one other person. So y'all know so certain ones he did not let free. I guess these are going to be most recent or probably the most widespread on people that were killed at one time. He didn't let this free, so these people will still remain on death row until they actually get the death chair.
Right. So but it was said that they were free, but they weren't. Their sentence was reduced, it seems, from death row to life imprisonment without parole. So that means they won't get whatever the death row
chair is.
Well, for that state is different per state.
They'll die in jail, but it
won't be electrocuted or lethally injected or whatever.
Because when you sit on death row, it could be months, years. It could be 30 years you're sitting on. Remember like one Tookie Williams sat on death row for a long time.
Tookie Williams?
The leader of the Crips.
Oh, okay.
He sat on death row for a long time before they finally. He was a long time. So you sitting there for a very long time thinking, yeah, one day they're gonna come and get me.
Right.
But on this clip, so I saw this on. You saw this. You put this up on New York Times. So it says Biden. I'm gonna let you read. I'm gonna let you read. Just summarize that a little bit. Do that little reading for me, baby.
So pretty much, this is the article that's kind of just giving us a little, feedback to clarification, because I've heard, a couple of people say that they're being freed, and I'm like, wait a minute, he gonna free somebody on death row, and then you just gonna free them back into the population? And I was like, okay, no. So the facts, according to New York Times, Biden commutes 37 death sentences ahead of Trump's plan to resume federal executions. So I think that's low key,
That was a low key hate move you tried to do under the table.
Look up cutes real quick.
Commutes
while I read this.
Go ahead.
Those affected by the president's action on Monday are still subject to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. 3 men will remain on federal death row. So that gives us some clarification. I'm not going to read this whole article. Brian can put it in the description so you guys can click on it yourself. But on Monday, he commuted the sentences of nearly all prisoners on federal death row, sparing the lives of 37 men just a month before Trump, was going to return to the Oval Office with the promise to restart federal executions.
So commute is a sentence means reducing the severity of a punishment. For example, a death sentence might be commuted to life imprisonment, or a lengthy prison sentence could be shortened. This is typically done by government authorities such as a president or governor.
Okay, so like we said,
yeah, he just downgraded their
and that's what this is pretty much saying. So those affected by his actions will who were convicted for murder will serve life imprisonment without the possibility of parole instead of facing execution. Only 3 men who each carried out notorious mass killings will remain on federal death row. Okay, so this gives me a little bit more clarification because we know he a little,
the ones that killed a lot of people at one time, and those people had to stay.
That makes sense. And I'm like, man, he just was really, don't really care about the people, but they're not free. They're free. Just, it's been reduced. And then the most heinous crimes, he let them remain on death row.
Because when I first read that, Joy, I said, this man just laid everybody out. On what he think gonna do? They gonna go out and just do good in the world?
Right. And then it says that he also campaigned in 2020 on ending the federal death penalty. So this makes sense as to why he would do that. Because if he's not a supporter of the death penalty, then this kind of would,
Let me get them all out of there kind of vibe.
Right. Well, pretty.
So this is some of the 3 people that he released, he commuted.
Yeah, not released. So let's be very
clear.
Commuted. Reduced the sentence, not released.
Marvin Gabron, who was sentenced for, sexual. What's another word for that?
I'm just gonna put the RP and then the unaliving
of a 19-year-old Rachel Timmerman. He also unalived her 11-year-old baby Shannon. 11-month-old baby Shannon. Biden just took this man off of death row. So this man looks really crazy.
He does. I was just about to say, he looked like he ain't wrapped too tight. So
this dude looked like he was the T-1000 on Terminator.
What made him decide? Like, I wonder how he determined who he was going to, I guess what it just said, based off the heinous crime.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Pretty much, because that was heinous.
Because my question is, if Biden didn't like the sentence, why ain't just what about even the man like Dylan Roof? Why ain't just, you already did that, but these people who have taken out multiple lives. So here's another person.
Okay. So this guy here, his name is Brandon Council. He's one of the 37th death.
I'll teach y'all.
Take 2.
Me and my secrets.
Take 2. Okay. Well, 3 actually. Brandon Council is one of the 37 death row inmates that Joe Biden just gave clemency but it is, he said he unalived Katie Skeen
and Donna Major. So 2 people. The last guy unalived 2 people. To me, more than one is more than one. You in the HOB lane. That's multiple. That's multiple people. So why you say, okay, I ain't gonna let the mass ones out, but I'll let the ones that get 2 or 3 or less.
Mass is, I'm sure, 3 or more, 4 or more.
Yeah. And the third person is George Torres, who RP'd and unalived 2 little girls in Illinois. You see how these people, the ones that are got these sentences, these are people that seem to have unalived multiple people. And especially if you went into children and you unalive, you automatically get the boom. Like that guy who just did the train incident, he's gonna probably get put on that. He may get put on that list, but because by the time
this person unalived 12 people doing drug enterprise. So which one is this? Go back, go down to this story right here.
Thank you. Move your hand.
Can you make it bigger?
What are they talking about?
So start over. Let's hear this little clip.
Oh, let's hear it. Hold on, y'all. We didn't plan this. Okay, so here's the full list of death row inmates who Biden commuted under the sentences. Commuted. Let's play this.
Mm-hmm. Ed O'Keefe is at the White House with more on this. Ed, good morning.
Vlad, good to see you. President Biden already had a moratorium in place for federal death sentences on crimes other than terrorism and hate crimes, and he's personally opposed to the death penalty, so perhaps this isn't that surprising. But those seeing their sentences commuted include Anthony Battle, sentenced to death in 1997 for killing a prison guard. Ooh. Brandon Council, sentenced in 2019 for killing 2 bank employees while robbing that bank. And Kaboni Savage, sentenced in 2013 for killing 12 people in connection with a drug enterprise. Most of the others were awaiting sentencing in crimes related related to the killing of fellow prisoners or witnesses to crimes or of prison guards or for drug-related crimes. But 3 of the 40 on death row will remain there for committing well-known crimes. They are Robert Bowers, sentenced to death last year for the mass shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. Dylan Roof, sentenced in 2017 for killing 9 at the Mother Emanuel Baptist Church in Charleston, South Carolina. And Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, convicted in 2015 for carrying out the Boston Marathon bombing that killed 3, for shooting and killing a police officer just days later. In a statement this morning about the commutations, the president says he condemns these murderers and, quote, grieves for the victims of their despicable acts. He added he's, quote, more convinced than ever that we must stop the use of the death penalty at the federal level. In good conscience, he adds, I cannot stand back and let a new administration resume executions that I halted. His announcement comes just 4 weeks before President-elect Trump is set to take office, and he surely will have reaction to this throughout the day.
Yes, he will. I was just thinking that to myself when I heard this. I was like, I wonder what President Trump is saying, how he feels about this.
He probably knocked the cup off the table.
I think there, is room for people to be rehabilitated, and then there's sometimes that people just are not, and that's sad, but that's the truth.
Yeah. I know that's one thing that I'm sure Trump, it probably was disappointing, because it's like, you've already done this place, I can't reverse it. So now these people who did heinous things, now they can probably taken out of whatever. I don't know if when you're on death row, are you in the same confinement with general population, or are you on a different floor for all the people that's going to eventually go to death row? Do you get moved back to Gen Pop?
I thought there was a different area. I thought there was a different area, and what made me think that was there was I saw on my channel feed where it was a young man who was about to come home, and he was young, really, really young, 19, 20, 21.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the day he was supposed to be released or the day before, he got moved to another area where there were people who were life sentences, and even I think on death row. Why he was over there, they don't know. But so I think it's a separate, they're not with the regular, because if you know you're going to be there forever, then somebody who might be coming home like this young man was, can be unalive,
because they were like,
and that's exactly what happened to him.
And that's what, for real?
Yeah, that's what happened to him. His parents, his family was very upset. I think the guy was serving the young man served a 2-year sentence or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be out in a day or 2 days.
On the live one was on life sentence.
But all of a sudden they shifted where he was. They put him somewhere else for whatever reason, and then he didn't make it home. And that was horrible. But but nevertheless, let's just stay focused. But I think they're in a different area, because it would make sense. You got people that's going to be getting out. Their sentences are going to be are very short. These people's mind, who knows what they're thinking. I
personally just don't believe that Biden did it for the sake of those people. He did it for the sake of his ego. He did it for the sake of his ego. But who is he really satisfying, pleasing? You think Trump? Look what I can do. Look at these families. Welcome to the big leagues, boy. Kind of thing. Whose families who never see their loved one again based off of their choices and decisions. But the only one he let a lot of people go, but the latest one that he let go was Hunter, and that's the one he gave full clemency to Hunter Biden. Oh, his son. Yeah. Well, all right. You can't compare what he did to what they did. I mean, it was still not that great, but these people really did some horrible things. And you see, when Trump was letting people out, Trump would let out like Kodak. He was like letting out stuff that it wasn't too serious. Let the person out. Okay, they ain't did that. They ain't did that much. They ain't did that kind of harm to people. But this dude was letting out people that just took all kind of lives. I still don't understand the rationale with that. And there are people, I know people believe different when it comes to, or have their own views and opinions about, the death penalty and all of that. I just feel like that's not something he should have done. He should have just gone out, waved by, and let his time be up. All right, y'all. Let Trump have that opportunity to determine that when he gets in office, if that's what he chooses. Y'all smash that like button. Man, this is Biden is almost out there, man. Just a little longer. We'll see y'all on the next, man. We appreciate y'all. Smash that like button.